I'm open.
And I'll definitely come tell you if I can't hear you.
Okay. Well, you want to do a real quick then?
Sure.
All right. Can you hear me, Ann?
Yes, I can.
I can't hear you. You're muted, but okay. All right. I'm going to mute myself. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you all for joining me today here at St. Mary's Elementary School. If you don't know who I am, my name is Dr. Narvel. I'm the principal here at St. Mary's. And this is our Title I annual meeting. And I'll explain a little bit about what the Title I annual meeting is. But before we do that, I just want to thank you again for joining us. Just so you know, I'll probably keep all the participants muted. But if there are questions at the end, we can unmute and ask a question, and that way you'll have an opportunity to give some feedback that way. There also is the evaluation form that was sent out with the email. I'd appreciate it if you'd also just fill out that evaluation and submit that when we get done here this morning. Should take us about, maybe 15, 20 minutes, just kind of depending on how long-winded I am, and then we'll go from there. All right. So I have some notes. I'm going to be sharing some items with you on the screen, and we will get ourselves started. All right. So just want to welcome any of our parents or community members we're going to be reviewing and discussing our school's Title I program, going over the district and the school family engagement plan, as well as our school compact. You're going to be receiving a copy of all of these items prior to our Camden County Collaborative Connections meeting next Tuesday on the 27th. That's an opportunity for our teachers to meet with parents virtually and go over what we're going to be doing in the classrooms throughout the school year. So you'll be getting a copy of all three of those documents on Monday of next week. And we'll talk about each of those three a little later on in this presentation. I have a list of different items that we're going to go through. And the first one is a question, and it basically says, what is a Title I school? So, a Title I school basically is where a school is designated Title I based upon the number of students that qualify for the federal government's free and reduced meals program. So in order to achieve and maintain Title I status, 40% of our student population here at St. Mary's Elementary has to qualify for our free and reduced lunch program. Currently, we're sitting at 44% of our students, so we are definitely meeting the requirements for Title I. While this is above that required level, in the past, we usually sit closer to about 52% of our students. So with many of our students being served virtually right now, the number of families applying for and then receiving that federal free and reduced lunch opportunity, has went down. So if you've had the opportunity or haven't had the opportunity of filling out that free and reduced lunch form, whether you think you qualify or not, we'd appreciate it if you do that and send that in. You can obtain a copy of that form on the Camden County website. You can also call the school and we can send one to you as well. We can send one to you through email, or we can have one available to you here in the front office where you can come up and pick it up. So that's how anybody any school becomes a Title I school. Currently in Camden County, all but a couple of our schools are qualified as Title I schools. All but one elementary school currently is, and then all but one are secondary schools. So I believe the high school is just short right now. So we're trying to get as many people as possible to fill out those forms so that we can, maintain that status throughout the year. We're going to talk about why we're going to maintain that status, okay? How do we spend Title I funds? That's always a big question. What do we do? Well, when we get Title I funds, one of the first things we want to make sure is we're doing our family engagement. So we want to make sure that we are, working with our families at home as much as possible. And there's different ways that we use that funding to do so. The parent and family engagement funds, they're spent by, we purchase ink, we purchase paper, poster paper, poster ink for our poster maker. Those all allow the staff to communicate with our families concerning all the different programs, different activities that are going on here at the school. And then this year, we're also adding additional funding for stamps and software for communication. That way we can continue communicating not only with our virtual families, but also our in-person families as well. Stamps is a big one this year because anytime we send out material to go home to our in-person students that we need our families to have, we want to make sure our virtual students receive that information as well. That includes our progress reports every 4.5 weeks. The information you're going to be receiving for Title I on Monday next week, we're going to be sending that out to our families in the mail. And it's going to, that's a definitely increased cost this year. So our Title I funds are going to be used for that. Also, our Title I funding pays for a variety of software and also personnel here at St. Mary's. New software this year, such as IXL, which I'm sure your students have talked about, Vocabulary, which will be coming probably next month, Lalelo, which is used at our K2 classrooms, and ESGI, which is a kindergarten product, are all going to be purchased through Title I funds. In addition to those products, some of the current ones we have, we're adding additional pieces, such as our Reading A to Z program. We're adding additional licenses for the increased number of staff members we have this year. We're also fortunate that we can reduce our class sizes using our Title I funds. This year, we have been able to add an additional teacher that our Title I funding pays for. So that is really a huge blessing for our school, that we can use our Title I funds in order to bring an additional teacher to help our class sizes be smaller. And even though our class sizes are smaller this year because of the pandemic and because of students being virtual, even if everybody was back in the building, at least in that grade level, the class sizes will be at a nice reduced model. That means less than 20 students in a class. So it's really a positive for not only the students in that classroom, but for the teacher as well, because they can feel like they can spend that much more time talking to individual students rather than talking to the whole class on a regular basis. So a lot of great instruction comes in that way. So that's how we spend our Title I money. So how are we participating in a Title I program? Well, we track everything that we do here in the school. So throughout the school year, our faculty, the staff, we all participate in multiple activities. We participate in trainings here in building where our staff, they basically learn how to better communicate with families, how to provide information with families. And then also we invite our parents to participate in different activities, such as this Title I annual meeting today, our C4 event, which is coming up next week on Tuesday. And although we used to have it in the evenings where parents could come in, because of the limitations this year with having people in the building, we're doing a virtual meeting next week. So those C4 nights, the family reading night we used to do. We always loved our family reading night. We still want to have that. It may just look different this year. Maybe a virtual family reading night. All these help promote that partnership between the home and the school, because it has to be a partnership in order for us to, provide the best possible educational environment for our students. So we want to make sure we continue those programs, even in these difficult times, even when we are, handcuffed, if you want to say, that we cannot always have people in the building. We want to, just not worry about these walls and reach out electronically if that's what we need to do. Okay. So looking at St. Mary's Elementary School over the past and what we're doing presently, with COVID-19 has definitely made an impact with our Title I program, with our planning and the goals that we have for this year. Because of the pandemic and us being out of school in the building for the last part of the 2019-2020 school year, we did not receive, get the opportunity to participate in the Georgia Milestone assessments for our 3rd through 5th graders. That assessment is our end of grade assessment, and it is our benchmark for finding out how well our students do during the school year. Because of that, we didn't have, our goals met that we had established for last year. Therefore, we're going to continue those goals this year. Many of our goals are rolling over with only minor adjustments. And I want to share some of those action plan goals with you. So I'm going to share a screen with you. So give me a moment here as I maneuver a little bit. And I'm going to present our action plan goals to you, just so you get an idea of what it is that looks like. So the action plan goals, and if you see me looking away, I'm looking just at a different screen so you can understand what it is. You don't think I'm ignoring you here. The action plan goals, we basically have 3 main action plans. Our first action plan is an English language arts action plan. And what we do is we establish a SMART objective. Our objective is that, we wanted to increase the percentage of students in grades 3 through 5 scoring at proficient or distinguished on the Georgia Milestone ELA end of grade assessment. We wanted to increase it from 59 to 52%. Well, where do we get those numbers? That 59% is where our students were at the end of the 2018-2019 school year. So we had 59% of our students in grades 3, 4, and 5 that scored at level 3 or 4 on the Georgia Milestone ELA assessment, which is really good, but we want to continue improving. So we would like to see an increase up to 62% of our students this year. And then we talk about different things that we do here in the classroom in order for us to achieve those goals. We establish different strategies. Those strategies may include small group instruction. We use contract service providers. We used to do a program called C-Time, which was a differentiated learning time. We've incorporated that into our regular instruction this year, so that's a little bit different. So we don't have that set time. Our teachers decide when they're going to do that C-Time, as we still call it, but we just don't have a time that we set aside for that. What do we look at? We look at our common assessment data. Our common assessments for ELA, we want to see an increase in percentage of mastery. We look at our RIT range. Well, what is a RIT range? That's the Roush instructional level. That is from our MAP testing that we do 3 times a year. We'll talk briefly about that in a few moments. And then we look at our writing, and our students are currently working on their first writing assessment. That is a Write Score assessment. It is all computerized, which is the same as the EOG. So we're looking at our first one, which is an informational writing. We'd like to see 50% of our students score at levels 3 or 4 on this informational writing we're taking right now. We're taking that this week and next week. Some of your students may have already finished it, which is perfectly fine. We just have a 2-week window. So that's what we look at, and we report out on this throughout the school year. In math, same type of setup. We're looking at improving from 60 to 63%. We have very similar strategies, and we look at very similar materials. We look at the common assessments, and we look at the MAP testing data. For science, science is limited to our 5th graders only because they are the only ones that take that end-of-grade test for science. But again, very similar. We're looking to increase from 67 to 70%. And then we have a couple of strategies where we're looking at our formative and common assessment data. And then we are also making sure we're doing spiral reviews. So those are our action plans that we have for this year. I'm going to stop presenting that and come back to the main screen. And, although those action plans, are limited to grades 3 through 5, our pre-K through 2 program all work toward, help those students work towards helping meet those goals each and every year. So that, that relationship with our pre-K through 2nd grade teachers and the work being done is so extremely important. And that's why I think you've probably seen, if you've had students coming through our kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade program over the last couple of years, you've seen an increase in rigor, difficulty of the activities that they're doing in the classroom, because we're trying to prepare them even more for getting to that next level where we start doing those state testing requirements. Some of the things that are in place to help your child, we've already talked about some of the software. We use that software regularly. In addition to that IXL that the students are using, we also use Education Galaxy. These are really practice skill activities. That's what they're for. Teachers do the instruction, and then we practice the skills. Our virtual students will practice those skills regularly and then have videos that they can watch that teachers are supplying for them. They might be YouTube videos. They might be instructional videos from different programs that we have just to help out. Our virtual parents, we know a lot of it's on you to help those students out. And the model that we have for virtual learning this year, we don't have these live meetings that we have, that we had in the spring. We don't have those this year. So it's really hard, for that teacher to provide that additional instruction, but trying to just keep in contact, answer questions when at all possible, and working with those students that way is how we're trying to meet those student needs. As far as how has our school been doing over the past few years, the state of Georgia adopted a grading policy, the A through F grading scale. And St. Mary's Elementary for the past 5 years has maintained a B score. We would definitely like to move up to that A score, and we're continuing striving to go that direction. It just takes a lot of work, and we're up for the task, and our students need to be up for the task too. So we're working towards that goal of getting up to that A level. Is there a specific curriculum that we're using here at St. Mary's? Our curriculum is based on the Georgia Standards of Excellence. We do have, we're piloting an ELA program in 3rd grade this year. We have a social studies program that we use called Gallup-Aid that's used in 3rd through 5th grade. But the actual curriculum is based solely on the standards of excellence that the state of Georgia sets up. So our teachers look at the standard and we teach the standards. That's what kind of curriculum we have. So there's no basal reader that you and I may have been used to when we were in school. So it's a little bit different now. Testing, what test will my child take this year? Well, students in grades 1 through 5 all take the MAP growth assessment. That's through the NWEA. So MAP growth assessment, they take it for both ELA and math. Okay. They will take it 3 times a year. We took the first one at the beginning of September. We'll take our second assessment in January, and we'll take our third one towards the end of the year, right after Georgia milestone assessments, I believe, maybe a little earlier than that. But what do we look for? We look for growth. That's what this growth assessment is all about. Where are the students ready to learn right now? And where do we think we're going to be at different increments throughout the year? And we monitor that progression. Students in kindergarten through fifth grade all take formative assessments in English language arts, math, science, and possibly social studies as well, depending on the grades. And these short assessments help guide that classroom instruction and the reteaching that needs to take place in order to make sure our students are mastering the standards. Students in grades 3 through 5 will take the Georgia milestone assessment or end of grades in late April and early May. These assessments can determine promotion retention as well as the standard requirements for each grade level. Students can score from a level 1 through level 4, with a 1 score being the lowest, 4 being the highest. A level 2 score actually shows that a student has met the standard goal. However, we strive for our students to reach that level 3 and level 4 status. Our kindergarten students, they're assessed using the GKids 2.0 program that measures student academic awareness in preparation for first grade and on. So what's required by law with the parent and family engagement? Well, one of the things is the distribution of documents so you know what our parent and family engagement plans look like. So we're going to take a quick look at what these look like, but I'm not going to go over all details because they're fairly long, and you're going to get a copy of these that you can look at home. They're also available on the school website, and before we end this, I'll show you where that is. Okay, so I'm going to present once again. And we'll wait for it to come up. All right, so the first thing you're going to see here, this is the school parent and family engagement plan. It basically goes over what we here at St. Mary's plan to do and what we're asking our families to do as well. It gives some detail about what a Title I program is, how to provide feedback. It goes over what the district goals are, what the school system wants to achieve this year. Talks about parent involvement standards. We adopted the national PTA standards for family and school partnerships, making sure that our families are welcome. I know it's difficult right now with parents not being allowed into the school on a regular basis, but we do want to know we do miss you and we would like to have you here. We try to communicate effectively, support our students, speak up for a child, share the power between home and school, and then collaborate and working with our community. The school family compact, I'll show you that in a moment. It's where we developed this compact or an agreement that the parents, teachers, and students have together and how we're going to work through the school year. Of course, you can always join us on Facebook. There's some information on parent involvement, how St. Mary's is branching out, different things that we are trying to do in order to reach out to our families and community. And then the different activities that we could have this year. And this one kind of leads a little bit to, what's going to happen with the pandemic and the requirements that the school system has placed upon us. We offer school council meetings, which we have not had yet simply because we're not bringing individuals in. We're trying to decide if these have to be virtual or not. That decision is going to be made within the next month. PTO meetings right now are suspended because we cannot have our PTO officers in the building on a regular basis. So we cannot, have these PTO meetings. We did have our open house, what the system decided to do this year on July 31st, where parents were invited to come in. We did break it up, asked different last, letters, beginning of the letters, last name to come in at different times. That helped quite a bit. And honestly, that is something we may look at continuing just to help with the overall flow of the evening. Our pre-K parent orientation, which is required as part of our pre-K program, was done virtually this year. So our pre-K teacher, Ms. Holland, invited our parents to participate in that. We did not have a Title I stakeholder or CNA input meeting this year, but we are using information from the previous year for that. The K through 5 CCS parent-teacher team meetings. That's the C4 events. We're having that in October. We'll have the second one in March and the last one in May. Our literacy night, which is our family reading night we talked about shortly, again, that may be a virtual event this year. Same way with the Math Starry Night. We'll have to see what February and March looks like. Our Terrific Kid programs are on hiatus right now due to the pandemic. So if they are able to start coming back into the building, we can continue those programs. The same day with Field Day and Career Day. That's all going to depend on what happens for the second half of the school year. Aquatic Center trip, we had to cancel our beginning of the year, our splash back to school. We had to cancel that because of the pandemic. We'll see what May holds for us at the end of the school year. The same way with bringing our Happy Apple transition. One of the fun times of the year is when our Happy Apple students from the preschool down the street, they come over and join our pre-K class to see what it's like to be in a kindergarten class and a pre-K class and eat lunch here at the school. That'll depend on if we can have it at that time. And same thing for those pre-K transition activities. We can do most of that where our pre-K students are able to visit our kindergarten classes. We just want to make sure that there is a safe environment for them in order to do that. And the statement at the bottom, considering the COVID pandemic and what we're having to do and adjustments that'll be made for this coming year. Now, the system also has a Title I Family Engagement Plan. It's much longer. It goes in a lot of detail about the system, and I'll let you take a look at that. I'm just going to continue moving through that so we can move on. You will have a copy of this, and again, it's available on the website. And the last document I'm going to share with you right now is the School Parent Compact. The School Parent Compact is where we had parents and we had faculty that joined together to develop this compact. Now, of course, this was done, for the last school year, and we're carrying it over for this year. And it took a look at the Camden County goals, which were updated for this year, as well as the St. Mary's Elementary School goals. But what we are doing to build that partnership, the parent-teacher conferences. Right now, we're requesting parents to have virtual conferences with teachers. If a parent insists on a face-to-face conference, we will make that arrangement, but it can be done only in the front office conference room, and masks are definitely required. The Camden County Collaborative Conference Nights, our C4s, again, that's happening next week, and we are doing that virtually. Right now, our Parent Resource Center is there. It's available, but unfortunately, we can't have parent volunteers to come in to utilize that at the moment. But if you, as a parent, and you need additional materials at home and something that we can help you with, is get in touch with a teacher that can get in touch with me, and we can see what we can do to help out with that. And as far as volunteering and observing, in school volunteering, we can't do that at the moment. However, you can still volunteer to help out your family, help out your student in your class by, you can offer to help, cut materials out for a teacher. They could send home to you. They could cut them out. You could cut them out and send them back. Just whatever it is that you can do to provide some assistance will be greatly appreciated if you're able to. If nothing else, just working with your child at home. That's one of the biggest things you can do. Of course, our open house, and we had the open house that took place earlier in the year. Of course, any questions, you can always contact, our school counselor, Mr. Spencer, our teaching and learning specialist, Dr. Gay, and then, of course, myself. Our email is there, and you can always contact the school through phone also. Then it talks about what the school and teacher responsibilities are. This is what St. Mary's Elementary School teachers are going to do. And then this is what we're asking our parents to do. What I'd like for you to do is you read through this, talk to your child, make sure they agree to that. And if everybody agrees, then I'm going to ask you to sign the last sheet and turn back in. And this last page here just talks about some different communications and things that we do in order to, communicate with our families at home. On that last page, when you receive this, your teacher, the homeroom teacher, will have signed and dated the top. We ask that you sign and your child sign as well and date it. And if you have any comments, you're more than welcome to send those in as well. Those will be sent in to your teacher. They will then, in turn, give them to me, and I keep those here in the front office. So those are the 3 documents you're going to be receiving on Monday. In addition to that, you may receive information about your students' MAP scores or their reading levels in the Reading A to Z program. You're also going to receive a goal sheet where we're going to ask you to help set a goal for your student for the year. And the teacher is going to be discussing that during that C4 event on Tuesday next week. One of the big questions that sometimes comes up from a parent is, how do we know that the child's teacher meets the qualifications that are required by the state of Georgia? We have a parent's right to know document that's on our Title I page, where you can go, and it basically says that a parent has a right to know whether or not their teacher is a qualified teacher or not. I can assure you right now that all of our teachers meet all the qualifications to be a highly effective teacher in the state of Georgia. We do have a couple of new teachers that are here in our school. Very pleased with them. They're learning how we do things in Camden County and coming right along. We have one brand new teacher who's fresh out of college, and we're very excited to have her part of our staff this year. We make sure that we hire quality individuals. That's the plan. Always hire a quality individual. How responsive will the school be to my questions when staff is contacted? So you got a question and you send it into the school. Say you send me an email. Well, I try to, the county policy is to try to answer an email within 24 hours. That goes for all teachers. That goes for administrators if possible. I try to do that earlier than that. I know Dr. Gay does as well. We will always try to respond to an email. Many times we'll just give you a call and try to answer a question if you may have it. One of our first questions, if you've got a question about what's going on in the classroom, we're going to ask you, have you contacted your child's teacher? Because that's going to be your first line of communication. Contact that teacher. They will contact you when they are able to. Remember, they're teaching throughout the day, and they only have a limited time frame during the school day in order to, reply to emails or make phone calls. And if it's after that, it's be after school. And many of them work on their own time. So we try to be, cognizant of that when we're asking them to do additional things. But definitely, if you are not satisfied with an answer you've gotten, you need to go ahead and give me a call or send me an email so we can find out what's going on, and we can work through whatever the issue is. We want to listen, and we want to make sure that you're happy with the education that your child's receiving here at St. Mary's Elementary. Finally, in closing, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to talk to everybody that was able to join us today. So excited that you were able to be here with us. We did record this event, so if you know somebody that would like to watch and hear what was about, they can contact me, and I can set up an opportunity for them to watch the recording, and that way they can answer questions as well. And if you would attempt to fill out that evaluation form that was as part of the email and send that in to me. Let me know if there's any issues that you have with or questions that you have with our Title I program here at St. Mary's Elementary. All right. If anybody would like to ask a question, I'm going to open it up and turn off, not mute everybody, and that way they can ask a question if they need to. But if you don't have any questions, I want to just thank you once again. All right, so give me a moment and let me unmute. Actually, you might have to unmute yourself. So if you go to your sound and you can unmute yourself if you'd like to ask a question. If not, you can always send a chat message at the top if you want to send a message through there. I'll just leave that open for a couple minutes if anybody likes to. If not, thank you, and you can leave the meeting whenever you would like.